Should you tell stories in your med school personal statement? There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm going to address it right now. I've been helping people become doctors for 10 years, and my consultants and I see tons of personal statements that get this wrong. There is absolutely a place for telling meaningful stories and anecdotes in your personal statement, but when it's done wrong, it can tank your entire application. And I'm going to explain exactly how to get it right. But first, we need to understand how it goes wrong, and this is kind of what it looks like when it's done wrong. Paragraph 1, someone will start with some sort of really dramatic emotional story. Paragraph 2, they will introduce in the first sentence the name, the made-up name of some patient or other. They will spend probably between 3 and 7 sentences in that second, even sometimes the third paragraph, telling a single story that they think is really impactful about this patient. I, as the reviewer, trying to understand who they are and how they are as a candidate and potential applicant to the medical school, will not learn why they're telling me that story until the very, very end of that story, where maybe one line will explain what they learned. Apropos of nothing, they will then launch into a completely different story, and they'll do this 2, maybe 3 times, and then write some arbitrary conclusion that doesn't land. That is an extremely common structure that I see in the personal statements that are submitting to us for review this year. There are 2 big pieces of advice that I'm going to give you that'll help you avoid this mistake. First off, when people say tell meaningful, gripping stories, they're not talking about dramatizations of really mundane and routine patient encounters that you think are cool because you're a pre-med. There's nothing wrong with being in awe of the care and inspired. I mean, that's why you're applying to the field, but it's not the actual meat and potatoes of what you saw that makes it compelling to a reader. When you're told to tell a compelling story, we're talking about the story of your growth into the professional and the candidate that you are today, which means weaving a cohesive narrative between all of the different paragraphs regarding how you've learned the formative lessons that make you who you are and how you've become inspired for the career that you're now applying for. The second piece of advice is you need to understand the literary function of any stories that you bring into the personal statement, and here I am talking about anecdotes. The story itself is not the point. The experiences you share are not the point. The point is the insight and the inspiration that you're sharing that characterize you as a candidate and a person. Therefore, the experiences and the stories you bring in only substantiate those insights and inspiration. They are the evidence for the claims and conclusions of your work. In general, you should keep that evidence to about 1/3 of the actual language on the page and keep the other 2/3 to explaining why it matters. If you're not sure how to make this happen, go ahead and check out my personal statement writing guides at the link in my bio. And if you want to work with us directly, please just send me a message or an email. Again, link in bio. One way or another, you've got this.